Name Tacos. I'm Dave.
And I'm Jen.
And we just got back from a road trip. And, of course, we're living in Texas right now, and we needed to get back to Mississippi for some stuff. And as usual, with most of our vacations, I turn into food trips of some sort.
Yeah, for sure. Like you usually say, either we're planning the whole trip around food, or we're trying to figure out what we can do in between things.
Finding things.
Like what we can eat.
Right. What restaurants can we go to?
Stuff.
And, what can you do between meals? That's especially true of New Orleans, but mostly true of our vacations.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, one time we had a vacation up to New England and New York and all that.
Yeah. We toured culinary schools.
Mm-hmm. But we ate a lot of good food, too.
Man. Yeah. We'll have to talk about that trip some point.
Yeah, sure. So when we usually travel back home, we take I-20.
I call it the Northern Route.
But it goes from where we live in West Texas all the way to central Mississippi.
575 miles. Nonstop on I-20.
It's quite a journey.
It is.
But when we got to Mississippi, when we crossed the river.
We timed it right so that we could eat lunch at a place in Vicksburg that I've been to.
Which is just right there.
Right
I mean, you leave Louisiana, cross the river, and you are in Vicksburg.
Vicksburg, Mississippi. On the west side of Mississippi, right there at the border. And a lot of great restaurants in Vicksburg, a lot of great history and things to do.
Yes.
Of course, antebellum houses. You have a Vicksburg National Military Park. And some great restaurants. Now, you've had a chance to eat at some other ones there.
Yes.
But we went to Walnut Hills.
Which is a place where you've eaten multiple times and told us about it. And it was definitely on our list for myself and our daughter. But it's in an older home. And we stopped and got lunch, like Dave said. And we ordered one of their lunch plate
the meat and
choices.
Three.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it was really meat and two.
But that's a southern thing.
Yeah, meat and three is very, very
Which we
southern.
really haven't had out here.
You can't hardly get it. And I think we've talked about that before. But, we definitely missed some really authentic southern food, and it ticked the boxes for us.
Yeah, it did. So fried chicken, one of the specials was fried chicken. Of course, I think we all did the fried chicken.
We did. And then my sides were purple whole peas and okra and tomatoes.
Right. Of course, they list the sides under vegetables.
Right.
And, you got...
there were some good ones. It was really hard to choose. Yeah. But, there was some, I think, squash and onions maybe. And
tons of okra and tomatoes.
It was really hard to choose.
It was.
So you got dumplings.
And greens.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they were collard or
I really
turnip.
don't remember,
And then our daughter got purple whole peas and dumplings. And then, like Dave said, we had cornbread, some little kind of
these biscuits were about the size of a silver dollar or something.
Yeah. The food was excellent. And it did come with a little bit of dessert, which is like a cherry cobbler.
Yeah.
And it was good. We tasted that. But then Walnut Hills is known also for their cakes and pies. And so
usually a lot of selection. And, I was there working one time in Vicksburg, and there's, 6 or 7 of us who went and ate lunch. I think everybody got a different kind of cake, slice of cake.
Yeah.
Of course, we all shared, but but they are known for the cakes. Now, you got pie.
I did, just because I'm a pie girl. Yeah. So I got chocolate pie. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, and I had the white chocolate cake. Imagine a wedding cake, except the frosting is like just white chocolate, and it's thick.
Yeah.
Our daughter got the hummingbird cake.
Yeah, and we all kind of shared.
Yeah.
Although I might have been a little
you were very stingy with the pie.
Of my pie.
Yeah, but no, they need to have like a guard barrier that comes down there at the bridge and hand you a plate of fried chicken and greens and dumplings and say, okay, do you like this? Good, you can come in now. It was just so good. It was a great way to kind of get back. Oh, we're in Mississippi. We feel like we're at home.
We felt so at home having that lunch. Man, that was just...
And I love, they had pepper sauce. Now, that's, if you're not from the South, it's some peppers soaked in vinegar that you kind of sprinkle. A lot of times it's on greens. But they had their homemade pepper sauce in old whiskey bottles, which I just appreciated. It was homemade, it wasn't a store-bought.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was great. It was a great way to start, coming back home, feel like we're back in the South again. And of course, we were there for several days. And then on the way home, we decided,
in the central part of the state.
Yeah. And on the way home, we decided to take the southern route, which is
I-10,
and go across South Louisiana into south part of Texas, which y'all had never really been. It's some of those areas before.
Well, we've been to San Antonio, but anyway, that was it. So yeah, we went to Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
we didn't really stop, but we were just, it was
lunch.
kind of a pit stop for lunch.
Yeah.
We got takeout from a kind of Greek-Lebanese
Lebanese
place.
which as many times as I've been at Baton Rouge, a lot for work. And I've never come across this place, and it was really, really good.
It was called Basha, and they have, I guess, several locations.
Yeah.
The one we stopped at was a little bit, east of Baton Rouge.
Right.
But we just got some lunch plates, and they were fantastic. Like, yours had, a beef kebab?
It was beef kebab, and it had like a stuffed grape leaf, and it had like a kibbe, little piece of kibbe. It was just fabulous.
Yeah. And then our daughter and I, we got, I think, the same lunch plate, which was, it was like some gyro meat and some chicken shawarma meat, and it came with a salad and pita and hummus.
And the pita was
and
super
rice.
fresh and rice.
That rice, even just the rice was
great.
Oh my word! And we could have split it because it was
We had
so
no idea.
much food.
That's happened to us many times,
Yeah.
Needs to be warnings on these warning labels.
Well, and I feel bad anytime I have to waste food,
especially when you're traveling. Like
Yeah.
the puppy appreciated it.
Yeah, she got to have some yummy gyro meat later.
So then we continued on. Baton Rouge traffic is not the best, so we got stuck in Baton Rouge traffic a little bit. But we continued on, and then you get to the Atchafalaya Basin area, which is really it's a swamp, and it's if you just picture in your mind what a South Louisiana swamp looks like, that's it.
Yep.
And it's this huge area,
And it was swamp hot that day, man.
But there's a visitor center. It's way more than just a rest area.
Oh yeah, it was really nice. It looked like a kind of nice South Louisiana home. I think it had been designed by one of their architects, the really well-known A. Hayes Town.
Yeah, very
and
characteristic architecture.
Very. But it was a cool place. Like, Dave ended up staying in the car with the dog, unfortunately. But
We went for a walk.
we all did. But I'm going to tell you, we went, when our daughter and I went in there, that air conditioner, it was blowing
turned up to
like
11.
ice. It was so great. And then there were some little exhibits, about kind of just life on the bayou, different foods. They had a little animatronic show that the kids would love with a raccoon, an alligator, and a little turtle that talked. They had a movie you could watch. It was really well done.
Yeah.
So definitely worth a stop.
Definitely
there.
worth a stop. Not just for get out and make a nice stretch of legs, but very informative. And
and learn about that area,
And so we continued on to Lafayette, got into the hotel.
Yep, we stayed right across from the campus, of University of Louisiana Lafayette.
Yes, which, as Mike Davis informed us, they jokingly call ooh la la, which I thought was funny. And went and ate. We had po' boys on the schedule. That was our goal, to get some good po' boys. And so there's actually a well-known place there called Old Time Grocery. Neat atmosphere, ambiance, and just a nice selection of seafood po' boys, but also other classic po' boys.
Like roast beef and meatball and all kinds of things.
But it's called a grocery because you can get chips and drinks, and it's kind of separate. It's interesting.
Yeah, like the side where you order has all the chips and drinks, and then you go into this other little kind of area. But it's kind of just you walk up and order, and they bring you your food. But it was really it was just an experience, really nice experience, and there was a lot of decor from the university, and I don't know, it was just cool. Y'all got a Barks root beer, which
the Barks of the po' boy.
That's bottled in Mississippi, or it was invented in Mississippi, which we love.
I will say, when you can find the Abita.
Yeah, Abita root beer is really good too.
And I'll be honest, so there was a time when you could get it fresh. They would actually do it in kegs, and you can get it out of a fountain. And let me just tell you what, the best root beer you've ever had.
Yeah,
and it because it was fresh, it wasn't bottled.
Right.
I mean, even the bottle's good, but
sure,
having it out of like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it goes really well. Root beer goes with a seafood po' boy. I don't know why, but it does.
So you got a shrimp. I got a half a shrimp, and then our daughter got shrimp. I think you and
well,
Helen,
we split one.
Yeah, y'all split, and then I got a half of their special, and our daughter and I split that just to sample that, and that was like turkey ham and roast beef, but I had a little bit of gravy in there, which was really good.
Yeah. But, the bread was especially good, really soft. Because some po' boy bread, you bite into that thing and you just feel like I'm just eating bread, and it's so like hard and crunchy, and it kind of takes away from the experience. But this really was some nice bread.
I won't eat a po' boy outside of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Because of the bread, to me.
Yeah.
I've only found the bread in Louisiana, that you can have it. I don't know what it is. It's something about where they make it, how they make it, whatever.
Yeah.
But really good po' boys. But I'll tell you, if I was a student there, I'd be at this place all the time. Because they have these specials. It's like $7. They have a different one like Monday through Thursday for a whole po' boy of different kinds.
Yep.
Man, when I was a student, didn't have much money. That'd have gone a long way.
Well, even these days, with the economy the way it is, that would be a deal.
Because a half po' boy is more than enough. You can save the other half for the next day.
Yeah.
Man, what a deal.
I know.
Yeah. So great if you have a chance to visit old times. So then that was that night, and then the next morning we got up and headed to New Iberia, Louisiana. It was just a little bit south of Lafayette. Gorgeous drive.
Beautiful, sugarcane, rice fields, beautiful live oak trees, older homes.
And then that's where we did our interview with Mike Davis at Conrico, if you have a chance to listen to that episode. But lots of food things down there, a lot of other food producers.
Like hot sauces and names you would recognize, and just all kinds of things in that area.
Yeah. But it's a great foodie area, because then you also have what's called the Boudin Trail. Boudin is a specialty of that area, and most of it's made there. You can get it in New Orleans, but I mean, it's freshly made there.
Yeah, it's very much. And hey, tell that Boudin story.
A funny Boudin story. So I work in sports stuff a lot, and so I was at the University of Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette Stadium one morning. We're trying to get in, several of us trying to get in the gate there, going through security, and there was a young lady at the back of the line who, in a very thick Cajun accent, was like, "Y'all got to hurry up. I got to make the boudin." And to me, it was just such a Louisiana thing. They're having boudin at the stadium.
And it was very serious. I mean, it was like, we've got to get in because the boudin's got to get made.
Yeah. So we were all like, she needs to get in. We all want boudin later. So let her go first.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere. I mean,
it's everywhere. Like every billboard you pass.
Yeah. After the actual flyer.
Yeah.
It's just billboard after billboard of stop here for boudin and meat markets. It's boudin and cracklings, and it's just like
And tell what it is.
So it's a pork, mainly it's a pork and rice sausage that's steamed, but they also smoke it. But there's also people there's chicken boudins, there's alligator boudins, there's shrimp boudins, but the classic is a pork. And we didn't get any actual boudin while we were in Lafayette.
No, but we did get some
so
from
on our way
Lake
out of
Charles.
Town. Right, on our way out of town, we were headed west still, and Lake Charles comes up
and it was kind of like time for lunch.
Right.
We just, with having the dog, we decided to get some to-go plates, and so we got some fried boudin balls.
Yep.
We got pistolets, which we had never tried
Right.
before, and they're like kind of a bready roll that are
Stuffed
stuffed.
with like crawfish etouffee.
Yeah, and shrimp etouffee. And then I got another shrimp po' boy because that's just my all-time favorite.
That's her thing.
And then our daughter got like a popcorn shrimp plate that came with fries and coleslaw. It was some good coleslaw.
Good, yeah.
Mine came with that as well.
Freshly fried.
But that was from a place called Steamboat Bill's.
Steamboat Bill's there.
Yeah, and I think they have several locations, but that was excellent.
Yeah.
And our daughter got to try the boudin balls for the first time.
The boudin, so she got to have some boudin balls. So that's where they take it out of the casing and just fry up the filling. And that's a good way to sample it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was lunch. We kept driving, and then our goal was to make Austin that evening, but Houston was about the halfway point. And so we stopped at a place I've been able to go to before, but it's a British grocery. Now, it's way more than a grocery, but it bills itself as a grocery store. The British Isles grocery store in Houston. Now, you and I, we spent some time in London. You spent more than me. And, of course, you have some Scottish heritage. And so just anytime you get to see some of those groceries, and we love specialty grocery stores.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we love to visit those and just see different things.
Yeah. And this was in an area of Houston called like the Rice Village,
yeah.
or just the village.
Rice Village, right there by Rice University.
Yeah, near Rice University. But it was a really neat shop. They had all kinds of tea and just, anything you can imagine. Scone mixes. And then, like, I don't know, stickers and just china.
I do remember when I
all
went
kinds of stuff.
looking around, they had I think there was actually a 1 gallon tub of mincemeat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's a big British, and it's kind of hard to find mincemeat to do a mincemeat pie. But
yeah,
I remember that. It was like, I don't think I can get that on an airplane, but maybe another time. I don't know how long it lasts, but whatever.
Anyway, that was a neat,
fun little,
side stop.
Break, get out of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we kept trucking on to Austin that night.
Yep.
Not too much further there from Houston. And the goal in Austin was to do some barbecue.
Right.
We were going to be in Austin area for a day and a half, 2 days, and try to sample a good bit of barbecue. So the next day we got up, and I'd been to Austin a couple times briefly, and then drove around and kind of did a driving tour of the area.
Yeah, we started in kind of the downtown.
Right.
And we found this food hall and
called the Fairgrounds.
Yeah, called Fairgrounds. And that was really cool. So you had seen, I guess, some kind of write-up for this
trip, right?
This particular restaurant at the Fairgrounds called the Austin Rotisserie.
Yep.
And so they would do, rotisserie chicken, but they had a lot of other things, and it was kind of a French theme.
Yes.
Because they serve the sandwiches on the baguette bread, really good crunchy baguette bread. So we got 3 different sandwiches and split them. We got
ham and cheese,
and a smoked sandwich that had tomato and some arugula and some goat cheese, and then we got a rotisserie chicken that had some arugula and goat cheese, and they were all just excellent. I thought.
Yes, but the ham and cheese was far and away, which for you, not being a cheese person either.
I'm not, I know it's weird, y'all, and we have this food podcast, but I'm not just like the world's biggest fan of cheese, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, goat cheese is
sometimes
fine,
it's a texture thing for me, but anyway.
It was just really, really good.
Oh, yeah, and the Swiss that was on there, it was like so thinly sliced. It was perfect.
Well done. So highly recommend.
Yes.
So we continued driving around, kind of drove through the South Congress area.
Saw the Capitol. Which is, it's really well known. It's made out of like pink granite.
And just got to see a lot. They have that green belt area and the river, and it was really pretty. A lot of people out. We went to the Zilker Park, drove through that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody was out, like,
it was the
in
4th
their
of July
canoe
weekend,
or riding their bikes. So they had their dogs. There was some kind of music fest. It's a very like outdoorsy city, and everybody has their dog. They take them everywhere at restaurants or whatever,
And we did drive by Interstellar Barbecue.
Yeah, and there's a really long
Looked pretty
line.
long, so we thought, let's drive around, and that's why we ended up at the Austin Rotisserie. And then that evening, we were coming back. And, of course, like I said earlier, we really like specialty grocery stores. And came across H Mart, which is a chain.
Right.
They have mostly on the East and West Coast, but they're Korean mostly, but they also have things kind of across the Asian cuisine area. Huge.
Oh, yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
They have restaurants in there, but then they have the grocery side. And I'm still trying to get my walk pantry built, so we were able to pick up a couple things for that.
Yep.
And our daughter, of course, enjoyed that. She loves that kind of thing.
They had, things like, oh my gosh, any kind of ramen you'd ever imagine.
Yeah.
But they had like Japanese Kit Kats.
I mean, you name it, everything.
Just, the sky's the limit.
I mean, I think there were 2 rows of soy sauce. Easily.
So, yeah, that was cool. And then the next morning we were headed out, like, to head back to West Texas.
So we didn't get any barbecue that day, but we had decided if there was going to be one place we were going to have barbecue.
Yeah, we decided it would be the Salt Lick.
The Salt Lick, the original location in Driftwood, Texas.
Right.
Which is just west of Austin, and as Austin grows, it's less and less west of Austin.
Right.
And more. Just,
So we had the car all packed up. We were checked out of the hotel and drove straight to the Salt Lick. We were there right at 11 when it opened. Yeah. And of course, this was on a Monday morning, but there was no line. Yeah. And now with the dog, we did have to sit outside.
But they were dog friendly outside.
Oh, yeah.
Huge porch area. Now, when I went one other time, and probably 8 years ago, maybe. And when we went on a Friday, and we waited, and it was covered up.
I can imagine.
But the original location is just very picturesque with the mesquite trees and just their stone buildings and the porches is beautiful, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to go, that's the one to go to for sure.
Yeah.
So we ordered, of course, a couple sample plates.
Right. We had to get to-go plates because with the dog. And then, we ate outside. If you had a service dog, I think they would let you eat inside. But we got
we did a brisket.
Brisket plate. They gave us sliced brisket and burnt ends. And then we wanted ribs, which should have been
ribs.
It should have been half and half,
but
I think.
They didn't have beef.
They were out of beef, so they gave us all brisket.
No, bison.
Bison, sorry.
Bison,
yes.
Yeah. And the brisket was really, really good.
Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah. Here's the thing with the brisket. I mean, Texas is known for the brisket. And we've eaten at a couple other, I want to say we've eaten at 3 other, I would say, decent barbecue restaurants.
No, I mean, they were good.
They were good barbecue restaurants.
They were good.
And one of them was even on the top 10. And I might get railed. Well, we're leaving Texas, so it's okay.
Oh.
The brisket wasn't my favorite. I mean, to me, it was okay, but it wasn't like blow you away.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be honest. I mean, even though with being from Mississippi and pulled pork is such a thing, brisket is my choice. Like anytime it's on a menu, that is my choice.
And I think there's this trend right now where, it's the super, how fatty can we make it? Like how much fat can we keep in the meat? Even when they trim it, they want it just so, how moist can we make it? And a couple of times I've had it, I've been like, man, this just doesn't taste like much of anything.
Except fat. And this was a great smoky, meaty taste. It wasn't fatty. No. And see, you know me, I don't really like fatty meat. No. So that doesn't go for me. No.
And I mean, it's not that these other ones were bad. It's just that this was a different level.
It was a different level for sure. Yeah. And I mean, I had waited years to eat there. So but it really met my expectations, you know.
And the bison ribs were good. I'm still trying to get a beef rib. But no. And I mean, like some of these other places, I mean, I'll be honest, two of these places, their pork ribs were as good or better than most of the pork ribs I've had in Memphis. It may be better. And, the sausage is a big thing out here. All the sausage is really good. But the brisket, that to me was what I was expecting Texas brisket to be like.
Yeah. And then the sides were good.
Yeah,
there were really some baked beans, which I think kind of like ranch beans. They weren't
Yeah.
real sweet. We're real used to them being sweet growing up or being from Mississippi. And then
Yeah.
there was some coleslaw that was kind of a vinegar base. It was just kind of light and refreshing.
Yeah, very light and refreshing.
And then a potato salad
which
that
is mustardy.
yes, I mean it was yellow.
Yeah.
It was very mustardy, which I love mustard. So I really
Yeah, it was
enjoyed
great.
that.
It was a good overall experience.
And then, it did come with the kind of traditional Texas little
red
stuff
pickles and onions.
with the exactly.
Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and of course, we had to get dessert. We have to try everything.
that's right. That's right. So you got
The half and half cobbler, which is peach and blackberry, and a little ice cream on there.
and then our daughter and I got pecan pie. She got just the regular one, and I got the one that had the chocolate chips.
Yep.
And they were both really good.
Yeah, excellent. Everything's really good. Yeah. So then we continued on,
Yep.
and we headed out of there we were headed home, but we wanted to drive through an area called Dripping Springs, and then kind of continued on into Fredericksburg, Texas.
Right, and that's very much the Texas hill country.
Yeah, that is to me the epitome of that hill country look. What you're expecting when you see that. But what I wasn't expecting, and I had heard about some Texas wine. Not what I was expecting. Like we weren't going to any wine tours or anything, but we're driving between Dripping Springs
And Fredericksburg.
and they're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was just winery after winery after winery, and they were not like kind of low end things. This
No,
is
I mean,
like
these are
Napa Valley, like really
Huge.
bougie and nice.
Absolutely. I was kind of shocked at
Yeah.
how big it was. I was
Oh,
wondering
yeah.
how big a lot of these wineries were.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of them look straight out of Napa Valley or Italy or I mean, just
Well, and a lot of
beautiful.
them had tasting rooms. I wish
yeah.
we had been able to
Right.
stop and do that.
But evidently, so this area right out around Dripping Springs and Fredericksburg, it's one of what they call an American viticultural area. It's the third largest in the country. There are over 60 wineries just in that area.
Wow. Yeah.
And Texas is now the fifth largest state of producing wine in the United States. So it's a huge area, huge. And we were just shocked. I was expecting something more like you'd see in, maybe while you're up in North Carolina. It's a, small little house inside the road with jams and jellies and some, muscadine wine. But not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, you do see the Texas wines in the grocery store, so
Yeah, but-
they've got to have a
Right.
little bit bigger operation. Than,
But I didn't know what I was expecting. But anyway, and then moved on to Fredericksburg.
yeah.
It's a very historic area.
It was
Stopped
settled
there.
by German settlers, and that could be why there's such a wine culture or
knows,
history.
right.
I think it was a similar climate.
But anyway, we stopped, got some coffee, but then there was some really historic church we stopped at and looked in.
Right, St. Mary's. It was a Catholic church. There was also a really historic Lutheran church that we didn't get to go to, but that St. Mary's is beautiful.
yeah.
It was built in 1840?
40s, yeah, 1840s.
And then the newer one, which is right next door, was like 1906. And it was, I mean, I'm telling you, I've been to Europe. I've done the whole Western European, kind of whirlwind tour. And that was as beautiful as any church that we ever went in. It was fantastic.
And there's a kind of a settlers pioneer museum there. There's also a fort there. It's just outside of Fredericksburg. That was where settlers passed through there. So it's a lot of cool things to do. I wish we had more time.
I agree.
I think it's definitely a return trip.
I agree.
On our list of things.
And
to
we
do.
really didn't even get to explore kind of like the culinary side of things,
no, not at all. Yeah. So it was a fun trip.
It definitely was a
We
fun
got
trip.
home, we had our grocery hauls from British Isles and H Mart and the stuff
And
from Conrico that Mike
Conrico.
had given us. So we
Yeah.
had some groceries there ready to go. But so hopefully some ideas that we can make some future trips out of. And anyway, that is our summer food trip this year.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. And just to sort of mention, we have started trying to produce some content for our YouTube page.
We've started some YouTube videos.
Got a biscuit
Got our
video
first one
up.
Yep.
So check that out, please. And then also, we've just recently done a support tab.
Yep. So if you
want to
help us out there,
tell us about that.
You know, support us trying to produce some more content. You'll find it on the webpage. You should find it on the podcast links. And, of course, tell your friends and share the podcast. And we just want to grow it. It's something we've enjoyed doing, and we hope to do more of them.
Absolutely. So, and, again, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. So
yes, our daughter's a social media manager.
Yeah,
yes.
Like and subscribe and all the things.
All the things.
Yeah.
So for this week on Sweet Tea and Tacos, I'm Dave.
And I'm Jen. Thanks for listening.